What's the difference between a revocable and an irrevocable trust? Hi, I'm attorney Paul Bernstein of the Bernstein Law Group, and in today's video we'll talk about revocable versus irrevocable trusts. So what's the difference between a revocable and an irrevocable trust? Simply put, a revocable trust is one that the trust maker or the grantor can change the words of. An irrevocable trust, simply put, means that the trust maker can't change the words of that trust. Doesn't mean that they can't make changes to the trust. It depends on what words are in the irrevocable trust. So let's begin with the revocable trust. Often we utilize those where we have a client that's looking to avoid probate upon their incapacity or their death. And then make a distribution to the intended beneficiaries of their estate. Yet they want this trust to be one that they can make changes to over time as their relationships with different people change, as their goals and concerns change. So in that case, we use a revocable trust, which is really a document that we fund with assets for the purposes, as I mentioned earlier, to avoid probate. But in this case, because it's revocable, like the name means or says, it can be revoked. It can be changed. So that's a revocable trust. It should be noted that a revocable trust really won't typically allow for any asset or lawsuit protection because of the nature of that trust. And typically won't do much in the way of tax planning. It's usually income tax neutral, the revocable trust. Now, an irrevocable trust, the other category, if you will, of trusts, is one where the grantor can't change the words of the trust. Why are these trusts utilized? Well, sometimes they're used for asset protection purposes, from liability or lawsuit protection. Sometimes they're used for tax planning, both income and estate tax planning purposes. Another reason for irrevocable trust might be to give a gift during lifetime, but make sure it's protected for those intended beneficiaries from divorces and lawsuits. So we want to make sure that it's a thoughtful and protected gift. There might be other reasons for the irrevocable trust too. It could be for nursing home and Medicaid purposes. A lot of different reasons for an irrevocable trust. Depending on the purpose of the trust will result in how much flexibility is built into that trust. So the grantor might have the ability to make changes to the irrevocable trust, or if not the grantor, then maybe a different party can make changes to that trust. But at the end of the day, once the words are in the irrevocable trust, they are what they are. So that's a real difference. Once again, it boils down to revocable. The trust maker can change the words of the trust. Irrevocable, the trust maker cannot change the words within the trust. I hope you found this informative. If you have any other questions or just not sure what to do, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.